Hey guys, Valaris here. So the patch 13.4 notes just came out yesterday, and they are looking pretty game-changing. So I thought I'd take a moment to go over them with you guys real quick, so you guys know what to expect coming into the next patch. I'm only going to be going over the jungle changes, but I'm sure some other content creators are going to be doing full patch rundowns. Now, starting down here at the bottom, system adjustments, jungle sustain and clear speed. Base kill heal is going up from 25 to 30. This is referring to the heal that you get whenever you kill a camp. Quite a few junglers are struggling with sustain in the early game at the moment, so this makes sense. Keep in mind that this is not just 5 healing. This heal scales with your missing HP. So when you're at low HP, it scales up to 125% bonus. So rather than 5 HP, you should read this as 5 to 12.5 based on your missing health. Okay, so over the course of an early full clear, if you're playing a champ that's kind of unhealthy at the moment like Shyvana, I would expect to save somewhere in the range of 50 HP. So it's not massive, but it's definitely noticeable. Now, base Gromp HP going down from 2200 to 2050. This means max level Gromp is dropping from 4400 to 4100, so 150 to 300 down. Now, the way Gromp HP scaling works is every time it's at an odd level interval, 1, 3, 5, 7, up to 11, its HP is going to go up, and at level 11, it's going to have double the HP it does at level 1. So all camps work like this. That means it's going down to 4100. So you're going to kill Gromp a few seconds faster all throughout the game. This is really, really nice because Gromp is just fucking fat right now. Keep in mind that killing Gromp faster also means that you're going to take less damage from it because it hits you less, right? So I would expect on first rotation, if you take 1 to 2 fewer autos from it and you combine that with the increased base heal, you're going to save somewhere in the range of 100 HP compared to the current patch. So again, not massive, but definitely noticeable. Now, there is actually another change to base kill healing coming on next patch that is not marked in the patch notes, and that is a bug fix coming to the mana heal portion. Like I mentioned previously, you get more healing based on how much HP and mana you're missing. But somehow, for the mana portion, this was actually flipped. You were getting your maximum heal if you were at max mana, and you were getting the minimum heal if you were out of mana. So for a few junglers that are really mana hungry on their first rotation, like Hecarim, Karthus, and Amumu, they were healing way less mana from camp kills than they were supposed to. Don't really know how it happened, it's pretty funny, but that is getting bug fixed on next patch, and this means that you're going to see a significant jump in performance from these champions, especially in the early game. Now, next change, Rift Herald no longer has a soft reset state. That means it's moving back to like Season 12 Rift Herald. If the Rift Herald runs out of patience, it's just going to full reset, run back to the center of pit, full HP. It's no longer going to have that partial reset that camps in Season 13 do. Pet AP ratio is going down from 15% to 12%. It makes sense. AP junglers in general are overperforming at the moment. If you look at the top win rates, pretty much every jungler up here is an AP champion or a tank champion, with the exception of Jarvan because he got overbuffed last patch. So they're doing kind of like a blanket nerf to the AP ratio. Don't worry about this too much, it's not huge. Like, in the early game, you don't really have any AP, so it's going to be like 1 damage off at the most. Later in the game, every AP champion clears the jungle super fast anyways. Karthus, Fiddlesticks, Evelynn, Echo, right? They all just one-shot the camps later on. So this is really only going to hurt from like your first recall up the first item or so. You might notice a small difference. But again, this is not too huge, it's just going to shift the needle just a little bit. Now, on the topic of AP junglers, we're also seeing a nerf to Demonic Embrace. It now has a damage cap of 40 damage per tick against monsters. This is huge, okay? Right now, Demonic Embrace junglers are completely overperforming Maokai, Udyr, Amumu at the very top of the win rates. Reason is simple, right? Riot increased HP on camps in Season 13. Demonic Embrace does percent HP damage. It's causing these junglers to clear way too fast. So it's getting a well-deserved nerf. This is a pretty severe cap. Camps like Gromp and the buffs in particular go up to well over 4,000 HP. With a 40 damage per tick cap, this maxes out at 2,500. So you're going to see quite a hit to your single target camp clearing. And this is going to be absolutely massive versus neutral objectives like Dragon and Baron. Your burn from Demonic is going to be on the scale of 2 to 3 times lower than is on the current patch. So this is huge. I'm assuming that a lot of these junglers are just going to drop way down in tier list and may just drop Demonic entirely. The main competitor to Demonic would be Sunfire. If you're comparing like a 1 item point, Sunfire first item to Demonic first item, Sunfire will deal around 30 damage per tick to most camps. At a 1 item point, it scales with bonus health, so it'll scale up throughout the game. So it's not that much behind the nerf to Demonic, and the item is cheaper and gives you armor. In addition, it has the immolate effect that causes it to do up to 60% more damage to epic monsters and champions if you let it stack, so even at a 1 item point, it's going to do more damage to neutrals and champions than Demonic Embrace is, purely from the burn. Okay, and if you scale this up further throughout the game with more HP, the gap is going to grow even larger. So I think champions like a Mumu are most likely just going to swap off Demonic and go Sunfire first item instead into their tank mythic. Now, a champion like Udyr can probably still go Demonic. It's going to be based on what the enemy team comp is. If they're heavy on AD, you're going to want Sunfire. If they're heavy on AP or kind of more balanced, I think that Demonic is still okay. Because Udyr has pretty strong AP ratios, and unlike Amumu, he can actually poke with his Awakened R, and any poke champs like damage over time effects like Liandry's and Demonic Embrace. So I think Demonic Udyr will still be fine, but he's probably going to flex it with Sunfire based on comps. Okay, next. Kill experience, kill comeback experience are getting nerfed. This is game-changing, alright? This is absolutely going to shift the jungle meta. Kills against enemies at your level as % progress to your next level is going from 15 to 50 with this odd assortment of 40s and 50s in between to 15 to 50 with clean scaling and mostly 30s in between from levels 1 to 10. What this means is that any kills on a target from level 3 to 9, okay, the target you're killing is level 3 to 9, will get you less experience. If they're level 4 to 8, it's going to get you way less experience than before. Alright, so this is going to be a pretty big shift to your decision making as a jungler when you're presented with a 50-50 scenario where you're like, I could go for a gank, maybe it'll net a kill, or I could go for my camps here. You're probably going to start leaning on the side of taking the camps. Okay, now this doesn't mean that you have to just like full clear, never go for kills unless all of your camps are down. A kill is still a kill. Right? It gives more than just the EXP. It gives gold, and if you kill them, you can deny some minions, maybe take some plates, right? So you're not going to want to forego free kills, but again, if you have a 50-50 decision, you're probably going to err on the side of caution and go for the camps now. Whereas on the current patch, you would usually go for the gank. So this is going to shift the escape of the jungle meta pretty significantly. I think gank junglers are going to get quite a bit weaker, farm junglers are going to get quite a bit stronger, and the pacing of the game in general is going to slow down a little bit. Now, kill comeback experience, thank God this is getting nerfed. This has been one of the most unpleasant portions of the game for such a long time. The way this works is if you're lower level than the target you kill, you get bonus experience based on the level gap, 16% per level. So if you're 3 levels lower than the guy, you get 48% bonus experience. And what this meant was that on the current patch, junglers are just running around ganking, not caring if they fall behind in EXP, because inevitably, they're going to get some kill on one of your solo laners, right? Because it's solo queue, nobody plays safe, and then they just shoot up in experience and completely catch up. And it just completely destroyed, like, the value of being... Okay, I won't say completely, but it partially destroyed the value of being efficient throughout the game and actually sequencing your camps properly. So this is being nerfed. 16% per level gap is increasing to 20%, but the first level is 0. Okay, so it starts from a 2-level gap. So if you're 1 level lower than them, there's no bonus experience. If you're 2 levels lower, it'll be 20% instead of 32%. And this will even out at around 4 levels behind, which never really happens. Right? So this is something that junglers have been asking for quite some time now. This means the enemy jungler's not just going to randomly shoot up to your level, even though you've been outpathing him all game, just because he got a kill on your solo laner. Right? This is really, really nice. That being said, this does have pretty significant repercussions because this was one of the major anti-snowball mechanics that helped teams that are behind come back into the game. So it's going to be even harder than before to come back if you actually fall behind, which is why Riot kind of hit Snowball with the kill experience nerf, right? So that the team that's ahead doesn't get as ahead. And hopefully that'll kind of balance out. Now, Treasure Hunter is also getting nerfed for a similar reason. It's going down by 20 gold per stack, so 100 gold in total, down from 550 to 450. Junglers were the main takers of Treasure Hunter because we get stacks the easiest. And again, this is just another snowball nerf to hopefully balance out the kill comeback experience nerf. This means that if you were teching into Domination Tree secondary for Treasure Hunter, you probably just swap off and go for, say, Inspiration secondary instead and take Magical Footwear. The 300 gold saved on boots is probably just going to be a little bit more reliable. If you were already in Domination Tree for your primary, because you were taking Electrocute or Dark Harvest, Treasure Hunter will still be fine. Like, it's not dead, but many champions are going to want to consider taking Ingenious or Relentless Hunter instead. When it comes to champion nerfs, we have Maokai, Elise, Amumu, Udyr, and Jarvan, all pretty well deserved. Jarvan had his one patch in the spotlight. He was way too strong after the buff, so he's still going to be good, okay? He still retains 70% of the AP ratio on his W. He's just not going to be quite as overbearing. Udyr, the nerfs are not too heavy. He's seeing some HP growth drop, some base armor drop, so he's going to be not quite as tanky. His Q on hit ratio is going down, so Tiger Udyr gets nerfed, and his R slow is going down. So these nerfs are pretty light, but you have to remember it's in conjunction with the demonic nerfs, so he is going to take a pretty significant hit. I think he's still going to be strong, but he's no longer going to be like the god tier jungler of the patch. Amumu getting hit on his HP growth and armor growth as well as his W damage. Again, these are not like game-changing nerfs, but when you combine them with the demonic nerfs, he's going to move down a fair bit as well. And again, I think he's going to shift over to Sunfire in most games. Elise has been overperforming the entire season, both in solo queue and pro play. She is taking quite a big hit here. Her spider Q damage is going down from 70 to 210 to 60 to 180, so down by 30 by level 9, and her early game spiderling damage is going down. So her early clear is going to get hit, her early burst is going to get hit. This is pretty significant for Elise. And remember, this is combined with the nerf to kill experience. Elise is one of the most gank heavy junglers in the game, so she's kind of getting double hit here. Maokai is finally getting kneecapped. The really significant change here is that his E cooldown is going up from 10 to 14 seconds, so he's going to be throwing way less saplings. His overall poke and objective control potential is going to drop way down. The AP ratio on the damage is also dropping significantly. So is Maokai still going to be playable? Maybe, but I kind of doubt it. Like, this is gonna shift him from S tier probably down to like B, C tier. Because again, this is combined with the demonic nerfs, which is gonna hit Maokai quite hard. So I don't really expect to see much Maokai jungle anymore. You can maybe still play it, but I don't think it's gonna be good. When it comes to champion buffs, there's not a whole lot of jungle champions on here. It's basically just Viego. His passive damage can now crit. This is referring to the percent current health on hit that he has from his Q passive, and his R ratio is going up. So this is kind of buffing the fun Kraken Slayer Viego build in solo queue, which is quite nice because Viego's been underperforming, and it doesn't really touch pro play Viego because they usually go Divine Sunderer. So that's actually quite a smart change in my opinion. Rest of these guys, like, I guess you can try to Cho'Gath jungle, but it's still not going to be good. He just doesn't really have a keystone to use after Predator got nerfed. And Malphite jungle, you can probably Malphite jungle in low yellow, to be honest. His clear is going to be pretty decently improved because W cooldown is down by 2 seconds at all ranks and the damage is up. So you can probably get away with just farming to 6 on Malphite and just pressing R every time it's up, and it'll work okay. But he's not really going to show up in high level jungling. Now, other major changes on this patch, the range support items are being nerfed, the melee support items are being buffed, so we're going to continue to see a shift over to melee supports that started already in patch 13.3 with the individual buffs to champions like Ali, Nautilus, Rakan, and we're going to see this continue on next patch, so this should be pretty big shakeup in bot lane meta. The other major change is that D-Shield is being nerfed from 6 HP per 5 down to 4 HP per 5. This is pretty massive. I can see why they're doing it, because there's quite a few melees that can just go mid with D-Shield and Second Wind and just completely out-sustain mages' mana pools. Very, very uninteractive. So I can see why they're nerfing it, but I am quite worried about the state of top lane to see if ranged top laners like Vayne and Kennen start to come back and dominate because of this. So pretty worried about top lane. Overall, I would not be surprised at all to see a shift to melee supports and ranged top laners this patch, which may shift jungle picks and jungle priority a little bit as well. There is also going to be an increase to LP gains and losses coming in patch 13.4. The average is going to move from 15 to 22. So if you deserve to climb, you'll climb faster. This is quite nice. If you deserve to be hard stuck, there's going to be no change because you're just going to go up and down by the same amount. And I suppose if you're inflated and you deserve to drop, you're going to drop even faster. But overall, yeah, I think this is a good change. Makes climbing a little bit less tedious. But yeah, that's going to be it for this patch rundown. I hope you guys learned something. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, then feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, a big thank you to my Patreon supporters for helping to make this channel possible.